Welcome to Elgin Web Design Reviews. My reviews in this series will be critical, but it's not my intent to be insulting. There's no such thing as a perfect website, and I'm going to share my 20 plus years of experience to demonstrate what works and what doesn't. The first website that I'll be reviewing is givingcandytostrangers.com. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I noticed, we're not using a secure server. Now that browsers specifically identify websites that aren't using a secure server, and Google has made it clear it will hurt your listing in the search engines, it simply can't be ignored. I don't think the space in the main area is being used as efficiently as it could. You can see everything centered, and you can see that it makes for a long scroll. I would put all these in the sidebar and put the main content that describes the book in the main area. When you don't write the code yourself for the website, it's sometimes a problem to make efficient use of all the space because you just can't place the elements the same way you can when you're writing the code yourself. Let's look at the source code. The title tag here is empty and there's no meta description. So this is basically telling Google this website's about nothing, and that should never happen. By not setting the title tag correctly, it stops browsers from adding a title to your window, as you can see up here. It just has the URL. This is my website. You can see how it has a title. One of the problems with WordPress is all this noise. From these internal style sheets like this, which should never happen, all these external style sheet links, links to scripts, all this shouldn't happen in the header. You can just see it just looks messy. I'll show you mine here in comparison. So I get it, you don't have to understand all this, but my website starts on line number 53. If you go look at this doesn't start until line, doesn't start until line 243. This is all unnecessary noise. Well, there's some good news. If we scroll down here, you can see it's at least loading the favicon. Now the favicon is this little icon that gets loaded right there. It does other good things as well, but it should be added to every website, and sometimes it's ignored. As I mentioned above, this website was created with WordPress. WordPress is a popular choice by those that don't have experience writing code themselves, but it's also easy to make mistakes that you don't even realize you're making, like not configuring the title and description tags correctly in the header, and that can be costly. Let's take a look at the website in Chrome DevTools. Chrome DevTools is a very important tool for do-it-yourself website designers, professional website designers, or even business owners with no experience that just want to know what their website looks like on different devices. Chrome DevTools is beyond the scope of this review, but you should search Chrome DevTools if you want more information. The first thing you'll notice when you see Chrome DevTools is these categories over here on the right. Each category has its own score, but even better than that, if you scroll down, it'll tell you specifically why it has that score. And, even better than that, it'll tell you how you can improve it. This is very valuable information. Now the first thing I do when I evaluate a website is I come in here and I grab the right edge of the browser window. What I'm going to do is slowly move it inward so I can see how it looks and how the layout works with different media query breaks. So let's see how it goes. Now as we move it in, you can see the first thing I notice is this border gets really big, and we're wasting some space on the left and the right side. You can see that this is getting cut off. You can see that our nav bar up here has gone down to 2 rows and it's dropped from the header. Let's keep moving it in. Okay, the frame's tightening up, and it finally jumps to where it has the mobile menu in the upper right corner. But that exposes another problem. See all this white space here? That's not good. Either a logo should be here or some kind of special graphic with the title of the book. This space is too valuable to leave blank. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and change the width to 320 pixels wide. Now that may seem narrow, but the reality is there will be people that view your website at this width. You can see that the header is broken, so that needs to be fixed. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the width to 375. That's the most common width that people will use when they view your website. Now things look a lot better than they did in the last preview, but the book's still being cut off, and that should be fixed just so it makes the entire website look professional. Now maybe the best tool of all in Chrome DevTools is to be able to look at the website on many different devices. If we go to this pull down menu here, you can see we have a pretty good list. So if we go down to the iPad mini, you get to look at it the way somebody would see it on an iPad mini. You can look at it with the iPhone 6, 7, or 8. This is the way it would look. Right? Keep going down, iPhone 10, there you go. You can even change the orientation, so you can look at it in landscape. You can change it back to portrait. So that's a great feature, and that's one reason alone that everybody should be familiar with Chrome DevTools. Okay, let's switch back to the primary window. The first thing we'll talk about is the nav bar. I'm not a fan. I'm never a fan of all caps, so unless there's a really good reason to use it, I would avoid them. It's also kind of plain, and if you look at the navigation here, you see it duplicates itself. So it has the title, and then it has the title again, and it does that over here as well. That doesn't look good, and it interferes with navigation, and it should be fixed. Ideally, you want people to stay at your website to buy your products, but that's not always practical because it can be expensive installing a custom shopping cart and time consuming. Here, if we click the buy button and go to Amazon, there are a couple problems. First of all, it goes straight to Amazon, and you don't want to ever be responsible for making your visitors leave your website. Now, the only way I can get back to the website is by clicking the back button, and that wouldn't work if people looked at multiple pages while they're at Amazon. Now, it's not a perfect solution, but what I would do is when you click on buy and click on Amazon is I'd have it open to a new window. That way they can do whatever they want. They can look at multiple things at Amazon. They can even buy the book and go through that process. And when they close that window, they would be right back at your website. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to navigation. If you look at About Stan, these don't look like they're subsections of Stan. So I don't think these are in the right place, and this should be rethought. You know, navigation is very important to me. So when I first saw this secondary navigation over here, it bothered me. Number one, it has a title of pages. That doesn't tell us anything. That's probably the default title that WordPress puts in there. But if you look at all these links, they're basically just duplicate links from the top navigation, and that really doesn't do us anything. I would rework this whole thing. Okay, now as we scroll down, there's some issues here. I don't like the way the spacing is with this framing. It looks out of place. We got the spacing between the sentences here is different from here. That doesn't look good. If you go to the right here and click on it, it opens this image. Okay, I won't get into the details why that's doing that, but it's not good that it's doing that. It's actually not good even that you click on this and it goes to the image. It makes no sense. Now we scroll down, all of them do the same thing, and there's just no reason for that. And the link itself should be contained to the image if you are going to do it. See, if we move this out, see how that doesn't disappear? That means all that is a link on both sides. If I click here, it's going to open the image. Okay. Now, if we scroll down, the way this is designed, it's all centered and just stacked. And that's why we have such a long vertical scroll. Now, I would move all this to a sidebar, or at the very least, I would redesign it so it's using the vertical space better. I still think that the main area here should be used for the information on the book, not on the different quotes from the celebrities. Even though that's cool, it's not what I'd use it for. The title of this page is not Forward by Kevin Sorbo. The title of this page is Giving Candy to Strangers. So this is important information, but it's not a title. And if you look at other sections like speaking, you can see it's using this area as the title of this page, which in this case it is. But on this page it's not. So not only that, but I looked closer at this, and that's an H1 tag. Now H1 tags tell Google what the website's about. So it's basically telling Google this website's about Forward by Kevin Sorbo, which it's not. So that should be adjusted. Okay, let's scroll down and see what else we find. I already talked about all this. Now, when we get down here, you can see that besides being the author of Giving Candy to Strangers, he's also contributed to Chicken Soup for the Soul. Now that's very cool, but unfortunately it doesn't look real cool here. It's downplayed. The icons are small. They're even smaller than this one. These should be laid out better, bigger, more attention brought to it. Now, the other thing I noticed, it has this contact button here, which is out of place to begin with. But to make matters worse, if you click on it, it actually goes to a link that is dead. So anyway, this is what you get, which is not what you want. Now, if we go down a little more, you can see there's information about his upcoming book. Now, that seems like it should be important to me, but here it is. It's all by itself. There's nothing describing it. It just seems like there should be more here. Okay, this last box down here, it says leave a reply. Leave a reply to what? Actually, I know what this is. This is a remnant of what WordPress started as. WordPress was originally just blog software. This blog software remnant needs to be removed. It just doesn't work in this place. Okay, at the bottom here, this should all be replaced with a formal footer. Information, contact information, email, phone number, whatever you want that's important, but this should be a custom footer for Stan Holden. It shouldn't have this generic information down here. Let's go take a look at the About Stan section. The full justification on both sides, not a fan of that. That's subjective, but I wouldn't use it. If we scroll down, you can see we have the images again. They're stacked. We're not using good use of the space here. And this looks like it's low resolution. We also have the problem that we had on the front page where these are links. If we click on it, you see it goes to another page. There's really no reason for that, and you can see it extends all the way out here. So if I click here, it's going to go to the same page. And there's just, that should be fixed. So let's close that. As we scroll down again, this is all stacked. They're good photos. I would actually work these photos into the rest of the website. And we keep scrolling. There's our leave a reply box again. But I would make a regular photo gallery out of this page, and maybe use some of these images throughout the website, just to make the rest of the website interesting. Okay, let's go back to the top, and let's go to the motivation section this time. Okay, like the rest of the website, I'd be a little more creative with the styling on some of this. Also, these are quotes. We're not using full justification like we were in the other sections. Also, if they're quotes, they're missing them. Well, at least this one has one. It doesn't have the opening quote. And actually, quotes can be kind of tough to style. I spent a good week styling quotes, the ones that I use now, the style that I use now. So it's not as easy as it sounds, or as easy as you might think it would be. But I would definitely go through this page and style up these quotes and make them look better. Okay, now I didn't actually watch these videos, this one or this one, but aren't these duplicates? If so, they need to be removed. Or at least one of them does. These look like duplicate images, but they're not. You can see the center picture is different. But there's no reason for them to all be one image. And if you click on it, it opens to a new image, and there's really no reason for that either. This link here to the audio file, or the audio interview, when you click on it, it leaves the website. And as I mentioned before,
over 500 hours per week of talk radio. TCN Live is a world leader.
Man, that makes me crazy. So I don't want to click on a link and then have it just blare at me like that. So this has to be rethought. Okay, one of my favorite pet peeves. Never, ever, ever. Did I say ever? Never, ever? Never use click here for a link. Never do that. I won't go into the details why, but just don't do it. Okay, up at the top we have our videos, and that's fine, but there are a lot of them. I would reorganize these, and at the very least, when we get down to the bottom here, you can see it also has a photo gallery. The photo gallery and the video gallery, those need to be separated. That's pretty simple thing to do to help out this vertical navigation problem we're having. And now we get down to these pictures, which I really like. They're good quality pictures. They're really good. I would like to see these images used throughout the website, not hidden back below the videos down at the bottom of this page. So, oh look, there's our leave a reply box again. I didn't know I'd be learning Adobe Premiere this week, so it was a lot of work. But their first review is in the can, as they say. And givingcandytostrangers.com was a pretty good website. It loaded quickly, it was clean, and overall I'd have to say I would give it a solid C+.